Compensation and contracts. Compensation and contracts. What you need to know about getting paid. As a model or actor, compensation can come to you in multiple ways in varying amounts. If it's a passion project, you may elect to do it for no payment at all or for CCM, which means credit, copy, and a meal. You may do this because you want to get creds on your resume, or you want to get some experience, or you just want to be involved in the project. Sometimes the production will pay you in cash, particularly if you submitted yourself and it's a small project. Most of the time, however, the production will pay via a check. They will send this check directly to you, or if your agent got you the gig, the client or production will send the check to your agent, who will then take out his or her fee and mail the rest to you. The time frame for payment is typically anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks after completion of the job. Some agencies will give the client 60 to 90 days to pay the invoice. Once the agent receives the check from the client, he or she may give you the option to pick up your check at their office rather than having it mailed. If you can, opt to pick it up at the office. This because not only do you get paid faster, but it's an opportunity to be seen. And when you do, always be very fashionable and go in looking like you're a star. Your agent will also negotiate your fee, which may consist of many different components. This is also sometimes referred to as your rate or the terms. Here are some items that you may find specified. Hourly rate. This is how much you're being paid per hour. Runway models get paid $200 plus in addition to the fee for the show itself, and that can be as much as $20,000 or more. But regular everyday models get paid anywhere from $25 to $200 an hour. Total fees for a gig, depending on what it is, can generally run from $300 to $4,000 and up, plus travel time, mileage, airfare, per diem, and accommodations if you have to travel. It all depends on what kind of gig it is. Background actors on average make about $120 for a 10-hour shoot. SAG-AFTRA background actors make more. Principal actors are usually paid via a daily rate, a weekly rate, or a flat rate. But the rate varies based on factors like, among others, whether or not you're a big celebrity or a SAG-AFTRA actor, whether or not the production is a union production, a big budget project, a low budget union project. It also depends on if it's a theatrical, television, or commercial production. The production's budget also factors in, so it's kind of hard to pin down the actual rates. That said, you can Google SAG-AFTRA pay rates. In the guidebook, you'll find some average breakdowns. You can also go to JobMonkey to see more on model rates. Other compensation details include overtime. Generally, this is time and a half of your hourly rate. Region. This specifies where the images of you will appear. In other words, where the client can air the commercial spot. Statewide, regionally, nationally, or globally, respectively, each at a higher rate. Usage specifies how long the client can use the images. 6 months, 1 year, or in perpetuity. This also specifies if it's a print or video. Print usually pays more. And it also specifies how much they will pay for renewals and a buyout. In order to properly compensate you, the production has to jump through a lot of hoops. There are many factors, circumstances, and conditions that are involved in the process, some of which include: are you a non-union actor or a union actor? If you are a U.S. citizen, if you are represented by an agent, do you have a contract? And then there are tax issues. So here are some of the things you need to know. In general, SAG-AFTRA actors earn more. A typical rate for background actors is $88 for 8 hours of work plus overtime. Productions usually go for 10 hours or more, so the rate for a shoot averages to around $100. Not a lot, but if you live in a city that does a lot of production shoots like LA, there are people who make their living doing background work. Or another reason why you might accept a lower rate is because you want to have creds on your resume and you want experience. Principal actors, as a general rule, earn more. Commercial work can be more lucrative than theatrical work, but again, it depends on what you're doing, the type of shoot it is, if you're a principal actor, if you're a SAG-AFTRA actor, and if you are a celebrity, among other things. Celebrities have agents who negotiate deals for them that are solidified in contracts. The agent then takes 10 to 20% of whatever they negotiated for the talent. But regular everyday actors have agents too. It's best to leave the contract negotiations to your agent. You can tell your agent what you want, but it's best to leave it to them because it's their job to be the bad guy or the bad girl so that the client does not get annoyed or angry at you personally. If you are negotiating your contract yourself, in addition to your fee, be sure to include text in the contract that specifies that you will get clips and outtakes for your reel and that the production will pay for any travel expenses. You can ask for a deal memo, which, while still binding, is a less formal contract between you and the production. They are usually used by independent filmmakers. In the guidebook under compensation, you will find some sample casting notices with pay rates. If there's an exclusivity clause in the contract, these are questions you need to ask yourself and your agent when negotiating it. Are there other people who are involved in this exclusivity agreement? In other words, were there a group of people in the commercial with you who also have to sign the exclusivity agreement in order for the client to air the commercial? Are you the last to sign? What is the market like in general? What has it been like for you? And here's another thing. Read what you sign. What's in the contract? First of all, it sounds obvious. Read what you sign. I was once sent a contract where the client essentially said, we get this, 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 and this. But there was nothing in the contract about what I was supposed to get. I sent it back and told the agent that there were no financials in the contract. You have the right to ask for changes and write changes on the contract before signing it. Your agent should be catching things like this anyway. They're supposed to be looking out for you, but you have to look out for yourself too. As indicated, There are tax implications and federal rules and regulations that the production has to follow. So the production will pay you, but they're not going to pay the taxes on whatever they pay you. So they will have you fill out a W-9 form when you first arrive on set. Some will have you fill out an I-9 form to verify that you are a U.S. citizen and you are who you say you are. And most every production will ask you to fill out a release form that gives them permission to use your image. Read the release form before you sign it. If you are agreeable to it, sign it and take a picture of it for your records. One other thing, if when reading the release form, the terms are different from what your agent said they would be, then you need to contact your agent right away. Because sometimes some producers will tell your agent one thing and then put something else in the contract that you're supposed to sign. So you have to look out for that. Talk to your tax advisor about what you should put down on the W-9 for exemptions and withholdings. Finally, sometimes you may get a check in the mail out of the blue, and that's because the client liked your spot and wants to use it again. In order to pay you, the production many times will need to verify your identity. So it's a good idea to bring your passport, driver's license, social security card, and or a birth certificate. If you bring your passport, generally that's all you will need. But if you don't have one or it's expired, bring 2 forms of ID. Other forms of ID include a U.S. military card, school ID, voter registration card, or a U.S. citizen ID card. Experiential knowledge. I, along with another woman, was booked for a fashion shoot. Usually, production shoots will tell you or your agent that they want you to bring wardrobe options. However, since it was a fashion shoot, the artistic director didn't want us to bring anything because the clothes would be provided. So because of this, and because it was an early morning shoot, and because I wasn't going to see an agent, I showed up in sweatpants and a sweatshirt with a hoodie. Meanwhile, the other woman who was booked with me showed up in cute jeans and a blazer. The shoot went fine, but that first immediate impression with the artistic director was lost. And I should have known better. While I wasn't going to see an agent, which I would have dressed up and looked nice for, I was going to a fashion shoot. So I should have been looking fabulously fashionable, despite the fact that the clothes were being provided. Luckily for me, I had to pick up something from this same artistic director's office that following week. And needless to say, I was fabulous and fashionable. So don't do what I did. Always come looking fabulous wherever you show up to meet, see, or be with anyone in the business.